Welcome to the Trump 2024 convention, brought to you by Project 2025. This week in the horrible city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you'll see the best of the Trump Project 2025 party. It's a bold vision for a bright future. With Trump Project 2025, you'll love how new tariffs will make everything more expensive and set off runaway inflation. We know you'll appreciate paying for the big tax cut our struggling billionaires need. When you seniors are done freeloading, check out Project 2025's plan to end Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. So get out of that nursing home bed and get back to work. And ladies, this convention has so much in store for you. With Project 2025, you'll learn how good you'll have it in the kitchen. Girls, if your marriage isn't working out, you'll need Project 2025's helpful tips to keep the romance alive, even if he's abusive. Because we're getting rid of divorce. And if Mr. Wrong gets you pregnant, welcome to motherhood. Because we've ended Roe v. Wade, and we're going to criminalize birth control. And minorities, well, you didn't need those silly voting rights anyway. For you Jews, Muslims, Mormons, and other fake religions, you'll get a head start on learning America is a Christian nation. Project 2025 is Donald Trump's plan for your future, and it couldn't be any.
And for the base of the Democratic Party, let me be very clear to all the elites out there in the corporate media. This is not a freaking game, okay? The people have seen what the Supreme Court has done, taking away people's rights, overturning Roe v. Wade, overturning all forms of affirmative action, overturning the Voting Rights Act, overturning any separation of church and state, ruling that Donald Trump is allowed to be a dictator. That's an actual ruling they made, that he should be entitled to absolute immunity, that bump stocks and other weapons of war should just proliferate across the country. We've seen what this right-wing Supreme Court's done. We know what Project 2025 means.
But after 6 years of the MAGAification of the Republican Party, to watch the media still fall for the exact same tricks that brought us Trump in the first place is truly unacceptable. The fact is that if this was actually about Biden's ability to fulfill his duties as president, you don't have to sit around and play doctor. All you have to do is look at how he's been fulfilling his duties as president. I don't need to see the results of Joe Biden's latest colonoscopy to be able to see the American Rescue Plan, which saved the U.S. economy after COVID. To see the infrastructure law, which was nothing more than a punchline during the Trump era. To see the gun safety law, the first gun bill passed in 3 decades. To see the CHIPS Act, which has led to a boom in American manufacturing. To see the PACT Act, which gave desperately needed health care to our veterans. To see the Violence Against Women Act reauthorized. To see a record 13.5 million jobs added and the unemployment rate hit a 50-year low. So again, we don't have to sit around and guess whether Biden is capable of doing the job, because he's quite literally already doing it, and arguably doing it more effectively than any other president in modern American history.
Oh, and by the way, interestingly enough, even after 3 weeks of being pummeled and disgraced and talked about like a bum and actually put through the ringer through every media channel and his own party, he still has the exact same poll numbers that he had before the horrific debate.
538 polling data has President Biden in the strongest position yet. It has President Biden up 54 to 46 out of 100 simulations. Let me show you some other data. We look at a very good poll, public policy out of Wisconsin. President Biden's up 1 there. I show you another poll in Virginia. President Biden's up 5 there.
Can you imagine if the Democrats actually talked about, I don't know, Trump or dictatorship or Project 2025 or even, I know this is weird, try to get people to vote for their candidate and not get rid of their candidate, what his poll numbers would be now? That would be amazing to find out. Let's hear from some other people how they feel about the situation.
I want to share the stories right now of Democratic voters, part of a pro-democracy community, are absolutely pissed off at the media coverage of President Biden and at the elites, even other Democrats who are attacking President Biden and often attacking President Biden through leaks. Look, President Biden has had an actual positive impact on the lives of Americans. Now, President Biden has not done it in a flashy way. He doesn't sell sneakers the way Donald Trump, less than 72 hours after a horrific event in Butler, Pennsylvania, tries to profit off of it and sells fight, assassination attempt sneakers for $299. That's not President Biden's style. As Doug Saunders said, for the first time in 23 years, the USA isn't at war. It's experiencing full employment and rising living standards, not seen in decades. Crime and violence are falling to record lows. It's energy independent, yet on the Republican side, the leading candidate goes on about it's a civilization collapse. Nicholas Grossman explains, if the United States loses its democracy, it will be the dumbest slide into authoritarianism in history. Other cases had mass unemployment, a major war, something. None have done it with low unemployment, rising real wages, declining crime, no troops fighting in foreign wars, while our foreign alliances have never been stronger. Our GDP growth has really never been higher. We're beating China in GDP growth. Another comment, stop trying to take my vote away for Biden. I'm with Joe. Your shameful behavior is fracturing the party, and you're going to be responsible for electing Trump, an insurrectionist wannabe, a convicted felon, and a wannabe dictator. It's time to unite the party. Democrats are now looking weak. 14 million people voted for President Biden in the primaries. If you get a new candidate now, you're not going to get the votes. And people are saying how disappointed they are in people and saying who are now turning on him and saying this is a reckless act. Pundits don't elect presidents. You can't possibly allow Republicans to nominate and rally around a convicted felon, and the Dems' response is to kick out their elder statesman, elected official, out the door. What's wrong with you?
Hey guys, we know we're small, but we are strong and we're growing because of you. Do you know in the last month we got over 2,000 subscribers, and I want you to help us get to 3,000 subscribers. We can do it. Press that subscribe button. It's completely free, but it means the world to us. It shows us that you like this unique take on the news. And when we get big, we promise we won't sell out and be like that other left-wing channel. Become a part of this community. I promise you, we will not let you down.
President Biden endured the bloody aftermath of January 6 riots, the stealing of nuclear secrets and sensitive war plans by Trump, his calling for the execution of Joint Chiefs Chairman and the hanging of his own vice president, his writing that the Constitution should be terminated if that was required to overthrow election results. Against that grim backdrop, Mr. Biden passed more bipartisan legislation than any president this century. He created more jobs than any president this century. He led America out of COVID more strongly than any country on this planet, has overseen the strongest dollar in half a century and the strongest economic growth in the world. America's economy is the envy of the world, period. Under Biden, our military and alliances are stronger relative to the rest of the world than any time since World War II. This, my friends, is not a matter of debate unless you get your news from hucksters on TikTok or on a cable news channel that is allergic to the truth. Despite what Donald Trump says, America is great, America is strong, and America is respected across the world. Democrats have to unite against the immediate threat before America's 240-year constitutional republic is no more. Lincoln finished that 1858 speech telling his fellow party members, against strange, discordant, even hostile elements, we gathered from four winds and we fought the battle through under the constant hot fire of a disciplined, proud, and pampered enemy. Did we brave all then to falter now? Now, when that same enemy is wavering, disturbed, and belligerent? This result is not doubtful, Lincoln said. We shall not fail if we stand firm. We shall not fail if we stand together. Because so said Lincoln then, and so says a watchful and very worried nation now.
The very same people right now calling on Joe to resign are the very same people who would have decimated Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren the second they accepted the nomination back in 2020. This Democratic Party is run by millionaires and billionaires. They're fine if Donald Trump wins. Now, they'll be upset if Trump wins because they won't be in the loop if he wins. They need to be in the loop. They knew if Bernie won, they wouldn't be in the loop with Bernie either. They want to be in the loop. What's the point of having all that money if you can't dictate policy? There are now reports that $90 million in donations are being withheld from the Democratic Party. The spigot has been turned off. They're saying until Joe Biden quits the ticket, the $90 million that were pledged, you're not going to get it. Get rid of them. The donors have turned their backs on Joe Biden. And trust me, it's not because Joe repeatedly promises to allow Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy to expire in 2025. He keeps saying Trump's tax cuts for the richest 1% expire next year, and I'm not gonna renew them over and over again. But that has nothing to do with why the millionaires and the billionaires are abandoning Joe Biden, because they don't care about money. That's why they're millionaires and billionaires, because they don't care about money.